What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and show where I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the March 27, 2023 edition of Raw Talk. Yes, this is a week and a half late. I watch and review every episode. I was in the process of watching it when it aired a week and a half ago, then never got around to finishing it / reviewing it just due to the busy week. Obviously, I posted nothing for like a solid week here on the channel because I was in LA for WrestleMania week. But I figured I would finish watching the episode. It hardly matters now that WrestleMania is in the books, but again, I've watched and reviewed every episode so far. We're not ending that streak. Not an overly significant episode in retrospect, but we'll get into it quickly. I will watch and review this week's episode of Raw Talk as well. Obviously, SmackDown Lowdown on Saturday of this week. There was no SmackDown Lowdown last week because I think they had Stand and Deliver at the same time. WrestleMania was Saturday night, but they also had Stand and Deliver at the same time. So they had no SmackDown Lowdown last week over WrestleMania weekend. So there was just one Raw Talk I had to catch up on, and that review should be up at some point, hopefully tomorrow. As far as this episode goes, they open up the episode talking about how Matt Camp dyed his hair. Didn't even notice, don't really care. They run down the WrestleMania weekend events, what was coming up from the 2 nights of WrestleMania, Hall of Fame, Stand and Deliver, all that stuff. They recap the Chelsea Green-Sonya Deville win over Michin and Candice LeRae, qualifying Green and Deville for the Women's WrestleMania Showcase match. Byron Saxton interviews Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville backstage. Chelsea Green opens the interview insulting Byron Saxton on a suit or whatever. And then also says that they've worked their entire careers for this moment, called themselves trendsetters, and they preview the Women's WrestleMania Showcase matchup. Back in the studio with Matt Camp and Jackie Redmond, they replay the weigh-in from Raw with Omos and Brock Lesnar, kept short and sweet as it should have been. Matt Camp says it's the biggest challenge for both to date at WrestleMania. Omos figuratively and Lesnar literally says that it would be the sky would be the limit for Omos if he won, which thankfully he did not. That would have been terrible. They recap the Rey Mysterio, Damian Priest matchup, the win over Priest for Mysterio via DQ following Dominic Mysterio interference. Mysterio is interviewed by Byron Saxton backstage. Rey Mysterio says that the Hall of Fame induction is still surreal to him, it's mind-boggling, and that come WrestleMania, he has to straighten out Dominic Mysterio. In the studio, they run down half of the WrestleMania card. They recap the 8-man tag team match that saw the Profits, Braun Strowman, and Ricochet beat the Viking Raiders and Alpha Academy on Raw from last week, like I said. Also hype up the men's showcase match. Kathy Kelly also catches up with the Street Profits, who are really going a million miles a minute as far as why they need to win at WrestleMania, and they promise a win, which they do, end up winning that matchup. Back in the studio, they run down the rest of the WrestleMania card. They recap the Cody Rhodes Solo Sikoa main event. That saw Cody Rhodes hand solo his first singles loss in WWE. Matt Camp calls Cody Rhodes wild for fighting Sikoa mere days before WrestleMania. They hype up the SmackDown face-off between Cody and Roman that Friday on SmackDown. And not only is it all about, or was WrestleMania all about finishing the story for Cody, Matt Camp reiterates it's all about for Roman continuing the historic reign as undisputed WWE Universal Champion, which he ultimately did. He did beat Cody and retain the title, to much of our dismay. Matt Camp also wants that first contact between the two at WrestleMania and not on SmackDown, which we did get, thankfully. And they promoted for the bump that Wednesday the Miz, Maurice, and Gargano for the show. So that was Raw Talk in a nutshell for March 27, 2023. Again, far too late on this. I'll be back with the Raw Talk review from this past week, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll be back on schedule after that. So keep an eye out for that, and also the SmackDown Lowdown review from this coming Saturday, hopefully at some point in the next day or two. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.